I was working with Tamahashi. So in it even better.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Heel Podcast. We are back with our January podcast, 2022. Happy New Year, boys.
Happy New Year, you wankers.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
And them in the stream. Can I just stop us though for a second? If you've got like 20 seconds to do the video, just do us a favour. Like it now, subscribe, and then if you think it's rubbish halfway through the video, unsubscribe, unlike. I don't mind.
Don't do that.
Well, no, they can do. They can do. That's your thing. But do me a favour and just do it before we start. That'd be great.
Don't forget.
That'd be really good. Really good for the algorithm. Right.
The algorithm.
We've had a lot happen.
Also, we should talk about the algorithm. Talk about it in the comments. Come and tell us more about the algorithm.
What do you think algorithm stands for? If you had to spell it out, what does it stand for? All losers get...
That's not what I was going to go with. Yeah.
Anyway.
All links. Yeah.
All links.
That's not what I was going with either.
I would say we've had a busy month in the last month in wrestling since Survivor Series. Is Survivor Series?
No, there was another one listed Survivor Series. That was November. What was in December? Jesus, what did we have in December? We had a pay-per-view.
I was going to say, you think we'd be more
1st.
organised, guys, but we're really not. We're really not. But I mean,
Do you know what? We didn't have one in December, did we?
No, because it was January the 1st.
Yes, the Survivor Series was the last pay-per-view. That's crazy.
Blimey. So it's been busy for wrestling. We haven't watched a crazy amount of it live, and
until this week.
Until this week, we've had a really busy week. As you can see on the screen, we've watched Day 1 and Wrestle Kingdom this week, and me and Link watched all 3 days of Wrestle Kingdom.
Or 3.
Sort of. Well, day 3, we had a few issues.
Yeah.
But they were funny.
But they were funny.
Oh my no! Sorry.
Shall we start though before the Wrestle Kingdom? We'll go on to that one. Let's just jump in with what we've had in the last month. Releases, boys. We've had so many releases. Let's say even since November the 4th. Keith Lee on the 4th of November.
Yeah, unreal.
Along with Karrion Kross, I think they're quite a pair that you could sort of like.
Unreal. I mean, Karrion Kross slightly less surprising than Keith Lee, in my opinion.
From what I gather, he seems to have quite a shocking attitude.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you as well, it seemed like he wasn't going to go anywhere. Like he was, they'd already decided he was done.
At one point, it was 2 people we thought were going to be there for a very long time holding belts. When they first broke through, we thought these 2 were like, right, these are going to be here for a while.
Yeah, this is Randy Orton and John Cena of the next generation. That's what that was. Like the two fucking massive important people in the industry that would carry it to the next generation as such.
But boy, were we wrong.
Yeah.
So,
like Keith Lee, like seriously, how do you drop that ball? How do you drop that ball, Keith Lee?
By making him Wildcat.
He would it's Bearcat, wasn't it?
A Bearcat, Wildcat.
But Keith Lee was absolutely incredible in the ring. He's, I don't know, I was gutted, genuinely gutted when I found out that he'd gone. Probably more so than almost, with the exception of one of the most recent ones. Probably the one that gutted me the most out of all of the releases.
We will get to that one quickly. That was that was the big batch. Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Nia Jax. Thank God she's gone. Ember Moon went. That was the big names from that batch. I'd say.
Yeah, there was a few there that I wasn't bothered by at all.
We then had November 18th, a couple of weeks later. The big name from that batch that went, really, John Morrison. Shame, but we're not surprised.
It's horrible that he's gone, to be fair, because he did get buried from the second he got re-signed. Yeah. You know, like he was in the Rumble, was one of his first matches back, wasn't it? And obviously, he was in and out of the Rumble within about 20 seconds. Brock Lesnar just flung him out, and that was that done. And we kind of knew from then on that he was just going to be there to give the Miz something to do, I guess. He was never there for any serious reason.
Yeah.
The one thing I did get was a lot of credit for his Mania match with Bad Bunny.
Yeah. He carried Bad Bunny through that match.
And that got recognised by everyone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. A
lot of people did.
A lot of people were saying, Well, we said that, Pete, because we're not blind. But a lot of people go,
yeah, most people said Bad Bunny was really good. Yeah.
Lay off the drugs, my friends.
It was not
The other one that got released that was I'm a bit sad because I like him, but Drake Maverick got released for the second time in the space of a year?
He'll do well. He'll do well. Like, he'll find a lot of money on the indies now.
And now this one is since Survivor Series, because we didn't sort of mention him on the last podcast, if I remember rightly. Jeff Hardy went on December the 9th.
Yeah, I mean, that is what it is. I don't know if there's much I can add about that one, because it's obviously
we can read what the reports were, and Fightful reported that Hardy was offered rehab help by the company, which Hardy declined, which he was then released. But Matt and things have said that he's fine, and Matt said it. I don't know. It's a lot. There's probably a lot more to this whole story, but it's just what reports have said. But
absolutely,
it's gutting that he's gone. He's a legend of the industry, and
yeah, I mean, I'd have loved to see Jeff with another title run. I'd have loved to see him back up at the top. Equally so, do I think he deserved to get back to the top after his behaviour in the past? Probably not, if I'm really honest.
The thing was, I can't see. He was going to get. There was rumours for big plans for him as well. They've just released a load of stuff that there was some big plans for him. So it's all a bit strange.
It's look, as much as I am a fan of Jeff Hardy and I love Jeff Hardy, his past transgressions and the stuff that he did, the Victory Road thing, for example, and all the rest, it should never be forgiven. And I'm sorry, but I'm strongly of that opinion. The guy messed up so badly and made the whole wrestling industry look really awful. It's fair enough that he's now conquered those demons, but can you ever really trust that person and put him back into that position?
So it's a hard thing,
and in my opinion, the answer is no. As harsh as that is, the answer is no. Look, the guy had the best comeback pop of all time, in my opinion, with him and Matt coming back at Mania. It was, in my opinion, the best pop of all time. Mm-hmm. He's had his moments. He's had his shine. He's had his spot in the sun. And I personally think that it's probably time for him to fade off into the sunset and classify himself as obsolete.
Wow. Anyway.
That was clearly a reference to his songs.
Yeah. We'll move on to the ones that have happened over the last 4 days?
Last week or so.
2 days?
Yeah.
I think since day one, actually. We lost a Hall of Famer. He's been released, as well as... I'm fairly sure this guy is not a Hall of Famer, but he's a Hall of Famer to us. So we lost Road Dogg, and we also lost William Regal.
Regal, obviously, and you knew I was going to stop on this one. Yeah. This is the big one for me. This is the big one of all of them. William Regal is an absolute legend of the business. His work backstage, his work in ring, his matches with people like Goldberg and Triple H, and he legitimately made stars in the ring. Even his last match, I believe, was against Antonio Cesaro when he was still Antonio Cesaro and not just Cesaro back down in NXT. Regal made stars. He wrestled because he was good at wrestling, not because he was an ego, not because of anything like that, but because he was very, very good at what he did, and he respected and loved the art of what he did.
That's been shown a lot in the last sort of day or so about how much respect he's come out with WWE.
The guy is an absolute legend and is pure class through and through. I think a lot more people should be more like William Regal. And instead of bitching that it's over, just be thankful that it happened in the first place.
You can tell how much he meant to other wrestlers, because how many have been there, basically it was just a sad day altogether. Just all different companies, people working in all different places, all coming together and just being how sad it was that he's gone.
Johnny Gargano and Johnny Gargano came out and said,
another one that was
most
released.
of these the big name wrestlers that you guys you're all excited about. This guy, he made them. He's the reason they're there. He's made most of your big stars. You've got to think Regal is part and parcel responsible for almost everyone that went through NXT. You know, I granted, obviously Dusty was there to start with, but Regal was there pretty much at the same time and continued after Dusty went. You know, so you guys like Roman and Seth and Cesaro's and your Big E's and like you name it, all of them came through NXT. And I think that's probably the other thing we should talk about is the death of NXT, because that's what this is.
Well, we've seen United Undisputed Era. They've gone.
Yeah, they're all
by Body Strong. They've all gone to AEW.
All Body Strong are now in AEW.
Johnny Gargano's gone.
Yeah, he's gone off to become a dad.
Samoa Joe's gone again.
No, I'm not.
I'm not, but he was NXT. What, 2-time champion? 3-time champion?
3-time champion.
We don't know what's happening. We don't know what's happening with even Ciampa now.
But then even people like Timothy Thatcher, Danny Burch have gone in that last release of William Regal.
Thatcher was a big
Road Dogg.
bad one.
There's a lot. There's a lot that's going, and I feel like NXT's only going one way, and I don't think we're going to have NXT 2.0. I think we're going to have another 205 on our hands. A show that nobody watches until it becomes obsolete and it's gone.
No, but that's the thing. There's some exciting people on NXT. But
it's
literally passing the torch now to the new guys.
Yeah, the new guys are. The thing is, it's a different generation, isn't it? So we've gone from the black and gold NXT to the 2.0, and black and gold NXT is the last 10, 15 years, or not 15 years, probably is 10, 12 years, something like that. And there is some major names that have come up through there that we are all now household names. They are the top of the top. You know, they are the industry now. Without the people that came through NXT, there wouldn't be an industry. Like they wouldn't. Like they elevated so many people to a level where they then get into the main roster, and from there they've either gone on to do good things or they've gone on to AEW to do good things. Like, you know, John Moxley, for example, came through AEW. You've got Bryan Danielson that technically came through NXT. There's so many big names that have been through the gates of NXT. You know, MJF. I couldn't possibly name them all, but there's loads, absolutely loads. If they're a young wrestler and they're semi-decent, the chances are they've been through NXT at some point. Luchasaurus went through NXT. Don't get me wrong, they don't all enjoy it. Cesaro, Kenny Omega, went through NXT for a short while.
Miro,
you know, it's who?
Miro.
Oh, Miro. Yeah. So
Rusev.
if you'd have said Rusev, I'd have known straight away. Yeah, sorry.
But this is the thing. It's
I thought you said Nero, and I'm thinking
Robert De Niro.
No. I was thinking Robert
Nero.
Nero. Jeffrey Nero Hardy, isn't he? Yeah.
It's
Nero.
needed a refresh for a while, and I think maybe this is it.
It might be, but my concern is that we all have our doubts about it already. And if we have our doubts, then the majority of the audience are going to have their doubts, and you will see the numbers drop. And when the numbers drop, like they did on 205, because 205 was actually good fun to start off with, it dropped and it died.
The tournament was good. The show was terrible. The show was awful.
I think the problem was when it became its own show.
The tournament was fun. As soon as it became its own show, it wasn't worth watching.
I think the one thing they've got to do to keep it going, NXT was always, everyone was a bit dodgy about NXT when it first started. The one thing that made it was their pay-per-views were outstanding. And that kind of carried them through, first of all, just because their pay-per-views are better than the main rosters. And if they can do that again, it gives them a damn good chance of doing well. Really well.
I mean, well, that's it, isn't it? We can't write it off completely, but
no,
I'm not particularly positive on that front for NXT, and it's sad, really.
It's like I say, you know, it's quite ironic, really, because they had Bron Breakker come out and win the title. Sorry, spoilers, and I was probably going to get onto that.
I genuinely forgot.
They had Bron Breakker come out and win the title from Ciampa. They had his Titantron was literally him breaking free of the chains of the old NXT logo. breaking it all apart with chains, and then he booted the old X, like the gold X of the old NXT logo, brushed that in half before going down to the ring and winning the belt from Ciampa. I mean, the next day they released almost everyone that had major connections with the old NXT. It was the death of the old NXT.
Yeah, it was
like absolutely 100%. It was
bizarre.
It wasn't even a passing of a torch. It was it was the symbolic in destruction and death of that thing, and it was almost painful that they'd kept those people on the books to watch what they'd created be destroyed.
I think what they need to do is keep someone like Ciampa and that on there to work with these youngsters and go, look, they're helping us move forward now and try and, like I said, refresh it up, because you've got some talent.
You
there
need the likes
really
of Ciampa.
They absolutely. Ciampa's absolutely fantastic. If they got rid of Ciampa, it'd be the stupidest thing they've ever done.
Keep him on the
because he'd get signed up straight away because Ciampa at one point was the best heel in wrestling. Full stop. Not best heel in the company, not best heel in NXT. He was the best heel in wrestling. Full stop. Any fucking company, any time. At the time, he was the best. You know,
he'll be a great teacher and mentor for these youngsters coming up.
Yeah.
William Regal, another Regal for them.
And just for the record as well, like when I talk about best heels in wrestling, there was a time when TNA had the greatest heel in wrestling, and it was Bully Ray. Just completely random, but like it can happen in any company at any time, and then it does happen. But like he was the best heel in wrestling at the time.
Yeah, very random. I mean, we'll sort of come back a little bit to TNA later, but we got what other news we got that's happened in the last month elsewhere? Link.
Did
any belts? Did any new champions happen on AEW?
Yeah, we've got the TBS or the Hose Championship belt, which Jade Cargill won from. Well, she won the tournament. They did a battle for the belt or a dash for the belt tournament or something with the women's wrestling, and that ended.
Oh, guys, I'm sorry. We will keep this bit in because it makes no sense otherwise. Link told me before the podcast, says, you gotta start pretending like you know these things, and if you don't, just go, that's cool.
No, not pretending, but like just
so, guys,
you know,
that's cool.
That's cool.
But for real though, I am glad that they're trying to make an effort in their women's division, because it's the one thing I've absolutely slated AEW for since they've started, that their women's division is one of the worst.
Yeah, I think we're not going into the whole let's hate on AEW thing, because we do it every month.
No. I just said the thing I hated.
But like I very nearly went into a tirade about AEW. I feel it coming. I stopped myself. It wasn't you. It was me that did it. Yeah. I'm not going to get onto that. But like I genuinely, there's been some great matches in AEW this month. Like the two matches with Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page have been absolutely fantastic.
Cody went for a table, didn't he?
Cody put himself through a flaming table,
I remember that.
And burnt his back to bits.
Like a sambuca.
He's an idiot.
He did. I saw that. I saw that. I was going to say that's cool, but I saw that. I saw that one.
Yeah.
Put himself through a table.
I saw the highlight
against Andrade.
Yeah, I did.
Is he still called Andrade? He is still called Andrade, isn't he?
No. I don't know.
That's cool.
I can feel some merch coming on. Andrade El Idolo.
El Idolo.
Is that his actual name? That might. I don't know. That's his actual name.
No idea. But it's still Andrade though. That's the bit I was asking about. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they changed that part of his name or not. I couldn't remember.
Anything else big happened on there before we move? Who's the champion still? Is it still the same since Survivor?
Yeah, Adam Page is still still champion. So the biggest news, obviously, this week is Phoenix and his magical movie arm.
Ooh, it's not dislocated. It's got a detachable arm.
No, it's
It looked like it was broke.
very dislocated.
And now it's detachable. Yeah, it was grim.
It was not pleasant. If you've got the internet and you want to see something that's gross, then go find it. But
also, if you don't have the internet and you're watching this, well done, because that's good effort. I was going to say, you watching it live? Sat there. Well done.
All right, smart asses.
Sod day one.
If you've got any sort of internet detective skills, and you can go look at it rather than watching a YouTube video, because the chances are it's probably not going to be on YouTube.
You can go.
Do you use Google?
Yeah,
anyway,
Google.
We will come back to day one for WWE. We will jump into
Wrestle. Was ages ago.
We will jump into Wrestle. It was a week ago. About a week ago.
It was actually a week ago. Yeah.
We will jump into Wrestle Kingdom 16. Not Me and Link.
We'll leave this.
Day one, day two, had a great time.
Day two.
Day three. No, day one was good. Day one was good.
Day three, Pete joined us.
Day three, Pete joined us, and it was just all tag matches. Really cool. And we will just say that it was all tag matches. It was for charity. They didn't want to stream it very well for us, and then when they did stream it, their stream broke. Not their fault, apparently.
They had a power cut in the arena. Yeah.
But what was funnier was that our completely legal stream, the hosts were fantastic. They were fantastic. They just, if you watched our Twitch, then you would have seen. But if you didn't, maybe it should have been there. It's in the description, as with all our links. Linktree. Go find it. It's good.
I'm not a tree.
Linktree. Right. I am just going to run through the championship matches because they're the only ones that really matter because they were the ones that were actually good.
I'm not a tree.
Evil is now the new Never Openweight champion, beating Tomohiro Ishii on night one.
I'm not a tree.
Okay, shut up. Nobody cares. It was an awful joke, Link. Shut up.
You called me a tree.
But how good? We like Evil, don't we?
Evil.
We've watched him 3 days in a row, or 3 times in a row, and every match he's... I don't know, he's got something about him. He looks very...
evil.
Plastic. But...
I think I remember him.
He looks odd, but...
He was on today. We don't...
I think I remember him.
Pete didn't watch anything. But even when he was here, he didn't watch.
He just didn't, did he?
So we started it every day at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then today we started at 6:30, and Pete joined us for that, and now he's dead. But I'm raring. I'm ready.
I mean, I'm tired. I'm not going to pretend I'm not.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say to the match. That's cool moment because I don't remember it. But Evil over the week, it was good.
He won that was the Never Openweight Championship single match that he won against Ishii. Yeah,
that's the one Dan just said. Yeah.
The Stone Pitbull Ishii. Yeah, it was a very good match. Very hard hitting. There was a lot of members of the Nightmare Collective or whatever they're called. I can't remember their name. His stable. Mm-hmm. They kept popping up and were
House of Torture.
House of Torture, that's the one. They had a lot of interference within that match
because it led on to night 2.
Yeah.
But that was well. This whole card, it was very good. The fact that it led into one thing, and they led on ready for the next match. It wasn't just sort of didn't feel random, despite they're all having to wrestle 3 times in a row. On the whole. The likes of Will Ospreay only wrestled on 1 for some reason.
No, he wrestled on 2.
No, he wrestled on 1, mate. He didn't wrestle night 1.
Sure he did. He was in a tag match, wasn't he? Yeah, he was. He was in a tag match, night 1. Because when he came out...
Oh, yeah, he was. Sorry, yes. Sorry, yes.
He had his, I barely even broke a sweat tonight.
Of course he was. Sorry, my bad. That is my mistake.
Too bad.
Chaos, they... became the new IWGP Tag Team Champions, beating Dangerous Tekkers, which is so they basically beat Zack Sabre Jr.'s team.
Cool.
The tag match, I don't remember. I'll be honest.
To be honest with you, there was some matches early on that weren't. They just didn't hold our attention. To be honest with you, that's not on them. It doesn't mean it wasn't a good match. There was probably really good spots in it. It's just. A lot of the Japanese wrestling, because we aren't that familiar with it, and I'm not going to pretend I am, it's very hard to keep up and to get up to date with it instantly. And but you know, we did this last year, we did it this year, and I think this year we're going to do better than we did last year, and next year we'll do better than this year, and you know, we'll just keep plugging away.
I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it for sure. Which
it
was
really good. It was a really good show.
El Desperado retained his junior heavyweight championship on night one as well against Takahashi. And then Okada won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Takagi for him to then face Will Ospreay in the second night. And that was a
great match, by the way.
Really good match. Really good match. Again, for most of these matches, they were so hard hitting. Mm-hmm. Some great spots, some absolute, just superb wrestling.
There was a lot of respect at the end of that match, though, wasn't there, between the two?
They're a same tag team, no? No, that's Night. Sorry, no. It was Naito I'm thinking of, and Takagi.
Yeah, but anyway, there was a lot of respect at the end of that match between the two, and then Will Ospreay came out calling everyone slags.
He did. And then on night 2, I think it was Chris Charlton called him a bellend.
Yeah, it was night 2. Yeah, that's the one.
Who we like?
Night 1, he just came out calling everyone slags over and over again, which was great fun. Just walking around the audience going, "You're a slag! You're a slag! Everyone's a slag!"
It's a fun way of doing it, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
What do we have? We had the House of Torture then won on night 2 the Never Openweight 6-man tag team championship, which meant Evil they retained it. So Evil did stay as
became a double champion. Champion.
Yeah, and with Takahashi and Sho.
Because they mentioned that today for night 3 that you came in as double champ.
I mean, good person to have as a double champ. To be fair, on a somewhat minor belt and a tag team, makes sense. I like it. What do we have then? We had 4 great matches in a row on night 2 actually. So from then onwards, we had Sonata Great Okan, who Great Okan's
it was a really good match.
We've got we thought, who the hell is this guy after last year's Wrestle Kingdom?
Last year's was just like, this is weird. Like he comes out with this like tea towel over his face with a question mark on it. It's just like, this is just weird, mate. What are you doing? Like
something like Black Eyed Peas would have had.
No, weirder than that.
Oh, way weirder. But yeah, he lost to Sonata. Then Naito beat Jeff Cobb. Another great match. But Naito and Jeff Cobb, never going to be a bad match, let's be honest.
Very good match.
Then our favourite match of... is it still our favourite match of 2022 so far? We're only 8 days in. But...
I don't know, the main event came close, man. The main event came close. They were very fucking good.
But we'll talk about them as a whole anyway. Tanahashi beat Kenta to become the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion. And then Okada beat Will Ospreay to be the outright IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Both
Undisputed.
matches... Undisputed indeed. But they were both superb matches. One was an OTQ. One was just flips and... just all sorts, really, actually, in that match. Will Ospreay nearly killed himself, and
Kenta tried to kill himself.
I think Kenta did kill himself. I think this is the problem. Yeah. He's ended up with multiple injuries, and he's probably going to be out for a little while.
Can we find the list of actual injuries for Kenta? Because there are some pretty substantial injuries going on there.
Pete, if you could find them, because find Kenta's injury list that he had the other day. But this match was superb. The fact that they had a really, really minuscule ladders was very odd. Then they got out this giant ladder, which was still the same width, but they had to make an X crossbar on both sides, and that was dealt with really well. I think if that had been done in WWE, the fans would have booed it because the build-up was too long. But Kenta made it well. He went back, made sure Tanahashi stayed down, smacked him over the head with some anything metal that he could find.
Kenta sustained a dislocated left hip, broken nose, tendon damage in his fingers, and severe lacerations.
He did well, is what happened. Basically, so for those
dislocated hip.
Dislocated hip.
Yeah.
broken nose, tendon damage in his finger, and severe lacerations.
So for those that don't know Japanese wrestling, Kenta is Hideo Itami, who was obviously in WWE, who was known as being injury prone. But this time, I would say this was not actually down to him being injury prone.
This was pretty.
He got fucked up.
These injuries, yeah.
He got fucked up, and
I've just seen the pictures of his back.
Oh mate, you should have seen some of the kendo stick shots.
The shots they were taking were just ridiculous. Like,
yeah, mate, it was great.
He came off the ladder and went face first into a bin, like face first, not arms first, face first into a bin. And I think that's when he bust open, wasn't it? He just had the blood everywhere from that.
Yeah, and
like it was ridiculous. Like,
do you know what? These two, I think, up there now as two of my favourite Japanese wrestlers now because of this one match. That was just, they made me fans. They made me fans. And I mean,
was to be buzzing. Fair, Kenta in general, Kenta's obviously the innovator, the creator of the go to sleep, the move that CM Punk stole. And has been mocked for stealing it ever since, despite the fact that Kenta, people still regularly tell Kenta off for using to go to sleep and tell him that he stole it from CM Punk, which is just ridiculous.
You know it's bad when even Wikipedia tells you that Kenta came up with the GTS. Just saying, wasn't CM Punk, guys.
But yeah, he's fantastic. He really is good. He had a shit run in WWE, and that wasn't WWE's fault, and nobody can say it was. It wasn't. Like, he was injury prone. He was out constantly because of injuries. He was never on the road, and they just couldn't use him. Like, he wasn't. He was damaged goods for them. You know, that's not something that they could have changed. That was on. I can't even say it was on him. It was just kind of luck of the draw, and it was unlucky.
Shit happens.
Yeah,
basically,
but,
mate. Yeah.
He's a fantastic wrestler. He's fantastic with a microphone. He's fantastic at cutting promos and getting things over and making people feel emotion in matches, which is really difficult to do, especially in like a Japanese environment. Like they, as you know, they weren't even allowed to cheer this week, like at all. They had to clap. That was it. That's all they were allowed to do. And as much as Pete's taking the piss out of that tonight, it hasn't even hurt the product. Like, these matches were still absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah,
and you could still tell when people were behind it and when people were enjoying it, and all they were allowed to do was
every time there was a hit.
Yeah, like it was really good. It was really, really good to see.
But I think that pretty much covers the match. To be fair, like how good it was. Okada, Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay did a
the
moonsault off of everything in every different way. Will Ospreay, I haven't watched him a lot, to be fair. And I know
I thought he broke his leg at one point. To be fair.
So did I. Yeah, it was off the off the scaffolding. Off the metal scaffolding. He had to clear it, and then he actually ended up clearing Okada as well. And Okada just about managed to catch him, caught him with his shoulder all the way.
All
the way back here, and it was it looked like it could have been bad, but I think they're both.
He only just touched him, but he came down very hard on his legs.
Yeah, they're both fine.
Very hard.
I can see the hype in Will. I don't know what to make of him because I know a lot of people. I know our mate Boosh hates him.
Oh yeah, because as a human, he's a knob.
He is a bell end, as our new mate Chris Charlton would say.
Yeah.
Also,
fucking bell end.
That
also, yeah,
best commentary of the week.
Thank you very much to the New Japan English commentary team, because they are absolute lifesavers. Without them basically telling us what was going on, we wouldn't be able to watch any of it, and it was really good. So yeah, thank you very much to Kevin Kelly, who none of us have really seen other than in New Japan for 20 odd years since he was back in WWE doing backstage interviews. What a man! What an absolute legend of a man! And yeah, the new guy, the child,
as you called him on day one.
Mate, he looked.
Who's that child? 10. Like he went.
It
came up. We were. It wasn't even 7:30 in the morning. Who's that child? What, Link? Jesus.
Why is there a kid on my screen?
Yeah.
What's going on?
But Okada became the undisputed world champion. So that's what we got going forward for New Japan. As for night 3, well done for putting on a charity show. That was it. It was a tag match. It was good that you had 2 shows coming together. Like, hopefully we see more of it across the world. Like, maybe... Well, and we'll sort of get to that a little bit with WWE as well in a sec, I'm sure.
Oh,
Stadium needs to pay their electric bill.
And there's very little that we can add for day 3, because day 3 was... I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't as good as day 2 or day 1.
My highlight was my full English, and
I think they deliberately separated it by a day and didn't have it in the same arena, and it is what it is. I don't think they should have put the Wrestle Kingdom name on it, to be honest with you. I think they should have just kept it as New Japan versus Noah or something.
Mm-hmm. And then we probably wouldn't have bothered with it.
Exactly. Unfortunately, it's true, but I don't think I would have.
Right, I'm going to steer us away from New Japan then, and Noah. As Pete likes to make Noah's Ark jokes. That's nice. That's cool. So you even ballsed up that. You messed up our own merch already, guys. The merch that doesn't exist that I've got in my mind.
Right. Have merch?
Day 1. Sheamus, Ridge Holland, Cesaro, Ricochet in the first match. Sheamus ended up in a handicap.
He did.
That Ridge Holland absolutely blew his nose open. Ricochet destroyed him.
Bit of it wrong.
Thankfully, it wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to look. We've seen the photos after, and we were like, we wanted more blood. We wanted more bone sticking out. We wanted more cartilage everywhere. It was just a wonky nose.
Seen it in slow mo so many times. I don't know how we didn't get more.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that was another tag match. I love my tag matches. Guess what was started the main show though, Pete? Do you remember?
I really thought he was asleep for a second.
Do you remember what we had started the main show, Pete?
Was it?
Yeah, you got it. It was another tag match. The Usos
wasn't it?
The Usos versus the New Day. I've seen a lot of tag matches this week, so it's been a bit depressing.
Not all tag matches are bad, man.
No, but
just any that have the Young Bucks in and a few others.
There's a lot of teams that have killed the tag division, the tag sort of matches for me. But the Usos and New Day are not a pair.
Yeah, they are. They are 2 of the best.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah, that's cool. It was a that's cool match. It stayed as it was, and we moved on. Drew McIntyre beat Madcap Moss as well. Okay, bro.
Hang on.
What happened in the Drew match? I don't remember what happened.
Hang on. He won by DQ, did he?
No, pinfall.
Oh, pinfall.
It's like, move on.
He won by pinfall.
Drew got fucked up after the match.
Right, I'm gonna remind you, boys.
Drew's out. Drew got taken out.
Of course he did. Yes,
Drew's gone.
I got obliterated by Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss backstage.
Yeah.
I don't think it was straight after the match. I think it was in between the RK
Bro,
later. Street Profits and Edge Miz match.
Okay.
I'll tell you now, guys. This pay-per-view was okay. It was alright
until the end.
Until the last match. Last match saved this show so much. But we did have RK Bro winning again, so cool. They beat the Street Profits. That was always going to happen.
No, that wasn't cool. They came out with those stupid Amigos nonsense.
Mate, it was better than Camels. Shite. It was better than Camels. I will take Amigos coming out.
No.
Yes, it was.
Give me the camels back.
Because we were in Saudi Arabia, we had to have camels. It was ridiculous.
Give me the camels back. I want the camels back. Okay.
Justice
for Randy Orton, give him a camel this time.
Yeah, those well-known camels in Atlanta, Georgia.
Speaking of which, we are back in Saudi Arabia in February. That has been confirmed.
I don't mind. At least we'll actually watch some wrestling in daytime, like normal time, like a human.
Yeah.
Yay.
We actually feel like valued people for once.
Not stupid o'clock in the morning.
So, guys, if you've got this far, please don't unsubscribe if you did listen to me at the start, because I feel valued as a human right now.
Edge unsubscribed.
Edge beated the Miz. Edge beated.
Edge reminded them to unsubscribe.
Edge beated the Miz.
Edge beated him.
Edge beated him. Off.
But only when their wives interfered.
Yeah.
So we had...
I knew we was going there.
What do we have? We had Maurice trying to protect the Miz, getting involved with Edge, and she looked like she was about to be eliminated. Not eliminated.
This is when the music happened.
Thrown out of there,
and then
Phoenix just stood on the ramp, going,
waiting for her music.
3 weeks later, my music
like
played.
5 minutes waiting for her music to play, and then the music played, and then she started storming to the ring. It's like,
oh, now I'm angry. I've listened to my music. I'm
do
pumped.
you know what? It reminds me so much of the Vampiro thing.
I need my music right now. I need my music right now. Come on, man.
Vampiro calling for his music because it's the music that will get these fans behind Vampiro for them to understand what's going on here. And all the production aside, Vamp,
where's the fucking music?
At this point in the trip, I don't know if you need your music. You're being called out.
Please, for the love of fucking God, put the music on.
And you asked, and he shall receive. Vampiro, a true professional, waiting for the cue to let the fans in the building know.
It's perfect for what this was, because it's the same sort of thing. It's not the same, but it is the same at the same time.
It's different, but it's the same.
It is. I get it. It's different, but the same. That is good news because that means we've got a tag match that I don't mind because it's mixed, and we don't get mixed tags that often. And it's Edge and Beth against Miz and Maurice. Like, I'm a bit concerned about Maurice.
I don't care in the slightest.
Mate, I've not cared about anything that Edge has done for a while already. I'm bored.
The thing is, you've got a long build.
Got to mix it up.
I could see this not happening until Mania, and I think this storyline is going to build all.
No, they've already booked it from Rumble.
It's announced for Rumble.
The mixed tag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they booked it on Raw.
Okay, then cool. Because I thought this was going to go away till Mania.
That's cool.
Going to have. I think you're going to have the two women. This won't be the end of their feud. Stopping Rumble Day.
Beth and Edge challenged them, and Miz went, "We accept," and then Maurice was like, "What the hell are you doing? I don't want to do that." So it was quite funny.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna guess we might not get Maurice in the Rumble, but I think Beth still might enter the Rumble.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that'll be.
Beth was the Iron Woman in the Rumble a couple of years back.
She was.
She went in and she
unreal.
She busted her head open. She was absolutely covered in blood, and still went loads of time in the Rumble. Yeah.
What a legend! What an absolute legend. Becky Lynch beat Liv Morgan. I enjoyed this match, but maybe not for the reasons of a critic as I should. It was Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan, so it was good.
Move on.
I thought
that was it. Yeah.
You should move on.
Oh, you should move on, son.
Honestly, trying to have a conversation with Pete during that match was like trying to speak to a horny teenager through his door while you can hear the sound of Babe Station. That's what that was. It was. Yeah, exactly.
I don't remember.
Go away, Mum! I'm busy!
I don't remember talking to you guys during that match.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Main event time, though. We were supposed to have Big E.
That wasn't the main event.
Shut up. Big E was the champion going into day one. We were supposed to have him fighting Seth, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Lashley, with Brock Lesnar fighting Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns contracted COVID the same day, same morning. It was quite mad.
Morning, he went positive,
so Brock got thrown into a Fatal 5-Way. It was only an 8-minute match, so for a Fatal 5-Way, quite a short match, really. But it was
less than
fucking excellent.
Over a minute each to get your spots in.
It was fucking excellent. What a match!
What?
Brock Lesnar is world champion, and I'm okay with it.
Did anybody not get their spots in that match? I think Owen,
everyone did it.
Did Owen actually hit a stunner? I don't think he did. Did he?
Well, he might not have done. But did he not have? Did he end up with the table?
Well, I think he might have.
He could have possibly done, but it was also quick. No,
I think he went to do a stunner and didn't. Brock kind of reversed.
Yeah. He got the upper hand, but he didn't keep it. So he didn't manage to hit the stunner. So Seth managed to hit a stomp. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Brock obviously managed to hit the F5 multiple times,
as well as suplexes.
there was several spears came in from Lashley, including the Hurt Lock,
and that was on Brock.
And Big E hit the big ending as well a couple of times.
And he got Brock with the suplex as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
he had
a big moment against Brock, and he came out well.
And we were shocked. Mm-hmm. We were shocked he got Brock.
Well, he got Brock up for the big ending, didn't he? Right at the very end, and then Brock reversed it and just nailed
slipped over, done his classic Brock slip over into an F5. 1, 2, 3.
Bang.
It was very good though, and it leads on nicely
really,
to
really
what happens next, I guess. Sort of.
We don't know what's happening next. Let's be honest. The whole thing is so confusing and so sort of surreal. Like, and obviously me and.
Sorry, carry on. I've just spotted something. I'm just going to try and work out why it's happening.
I thought you said a New Day impression.
We've not really watched SmackDown yet. I'm in the process of doing so at the moment. I've watched Raw. Quite a lot happened on Raw. A lot of matches were made for Raw. Paul Heyman came out and obviously is now Brock Lesnar's advocate again. SmackDown so far,
strange one.
Very odd.
SmackDown, there was only one massive thing in terms of the Rumble. It's the Royal Rumble show. All the rest is like, okay, fair enough. They're in the Rumble.
Johnny Knoxville's in the Rumble.
Johnny Knoxville's in the Rumble. Can we just point that out? That's insane. Love it. We all love it.
Entrant.
My favourite.
Is he actually first? That'd be cool.
No. He was the first person to put himself forward for the Rumble.
Yeah.
Got to be up there for one of my favourite celebrity entrants.
Oh, Drew Carey, man. Drew Carey was brilliant.
No. Drew Carey was excellent in the Rumble, but leading up to it, you'd have gone, why? Whereas I'm excited beforehand.
Well, the thing is with Drew Carey, it was all done on the night, wasn't it? I don't know if you'd seen, but he was on Sunday Night Heat earlier that night talking to Vince, and Vince was like, "Hey, I got a gift for you," because he was flirting with Trish Stratus, and obviously at the time Vince and Trish had a thing going on, and then the next thing you know, Drew Carey's in the Rumble, eliminating himself because Kane came out. He's like, "Nope, fuck this."
So we'll go on to the Rumble itself anyway. We've got announced for that already, but according to this, it was on here and now it's not. So I'm a bit confused. So on my matches earlier, it was saying who we have for the Universal, but it's not showing now. But it has definitely been announced. So I'm really confused. But we've got obviously so far the men's Royal Rumble, the women's Royal Rumble. We got Brock versus Bobby for the WWE. We got Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice for the mixed tag. We have Becky Lynch versus I assume is what it reads like, Bianca, Liv, or Doudrop for the Raw Women's. Mm-hmm. And then the SmackDown one, the Universal one, we're a bit... and it's kind of like you want to say it's not a just because moment, but Roman Reigns is fighting Seth Rollins just because.
It is just because, there's no real reason to that. It's really strange.
I'd be really excited about this match if they had a bit of a build-up. But because it's like this,
because we haven't had chance to watch it because we were watching Wrestle Kingdom this morning, there might have been something else. But from what I'm seeing, it reads, follow the conclusion of the Usos versus New Day, Raw superstar Seth Rollins entered Reigns' locker room cackling, which he always does, which apparently pointed to Reigns versus Rollins at the Rumble. The Reigns-Rollins booking at the Rumble was later confirmed on social media. I'm hoping that's just CBS being really crap at reporting. It's very likely. And there was a bit more to it. But from what we've seen, based on what we have, it's a just because, and it's a bit...
Yeah, they got a title match because he laughed at him in the locker room. That's just.
So I said, if this build-up was done properly, this could be a good match, and it might be people think could Roman actually lose to Seth? Maybe on a bit of a push, but not over a laughing little put together match like this.
Yeah. So I would rather this match got removed. Seth enters the Rumble. Yeah. Roman enters the Rumble, but doesn't put his title on the line, obviously, and he does a similar thing to what Brock did a couple of years ago when you went to the Rumble.
I was there, by the way.
He was. And we end up with an extra 20-minute long Rumble instead of 20 minutes for that match, you know.
Yeah.
And then then we can finish with the Rumble as well. Because why do I feel like we're going to end up with Brock? We'll probably end up with Brock. No,
the Rumble will still end. The Rumble will still end.
I fucking hope so, because sometimes
you would have the winner of the Rumble. Yeah.
But in previous years we haven't always.
The Rumble should always end it, in my opinion, and it has done for most years. But there has been a couple where it hasn't.
And that sort of brings us round nicely-ish to the Rumbles themselves. We've had Street Profits announced, Austin Theory announced, the Mysterios announced, Johnny Knoxville and Sheamus. They're the only ones for the men, so there's still a lot to fill. Hopefully they don't fill it too much and we get a few like, ooh. I don't think we will, to be honest, with COVID.
It's difficult, isn't it?
I'll be honest, the women's is pretty much full already. So we got from Raw, we have Nikki Ash, that is, Rhea Ripley, Carmella, Zelina, Dana Brooke, and Tamina. From SmackDown, we have Alia, Charlotte Flair, Naomi, Natalya, Shayna, Shotzi. We have Mickie James. We'll come back to her in a sec, but we had Lita, Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, Kelly, Michelle McCool, and Summer Rae as well as the free agents, I guess. The Hall of Famers, if you will. But, Mickie James.
And they've actually announced her as Impact Women's Champion.
So was that last night that got announced?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, it was. It says right there. But
so it's not even WWE Hall of Famer. It's Impact Women's Champion Mickie James. They've announced.
For me, it's bizarre. Based on previous history from WWE, the fact that
absolutely
they don't tend to work. That was 19 out of the 30, by the way. That all those women, they don't tend to work with other companies. So the fact that they've announced, and basically, they don't even tend to mention the names of other companies.
Yeah, they've referenced them.
If they've referenced Impact, could we see them working together? Which could be interesting.
Yeah,
it could see I'll be interested to see what happens.
Very strange for them to actually reference them, even if it's Hall of Fame. Normally they'd mention that bit and former superstar, but never reference the other company.
Yeah, like even if they were in the other company, but if they have, because
she's referenced her in the the announcement.
Mad. Just mad.
Yeah, it's very strange.
But I've got a lot of hope, and hopefully that we'll see that work, and there'll be something happen with that whole thing, because it'd be a shame if she just she enters the Rumble, she maybe emulates one or two, gets eliminated, and then that's that. Like, it'd be nice if there was a bit more to the whole Impact thing. Hopefully we're not just reading into it and something does happen.
Yeah, nice. It's not going to be hard for us to start a bit of a rivalry with someone and cross-brand it, maybe. You never know.
I wonder if we're going to get her husband pop up in the men's.
Yeah.
Hadn't even considered it, to be fair. That would be very good. For those that don't know. Pete's there going, that's cool.
Yeah,
I know who he is.
Nick Aldis, yeah. He's
or even
has he
end up with someone, even end up with some of the other Impact knockouts, sort of like I don't know, like a Jordan Grace or someone pop up in the Women's Rumble. That'd be fantastic to see.
That'd be really good.
Or I don't know. I tell you what would be interesting to see. Let's have Big Cass come back as his Morrissey character from Impact and have a face off with Edge versus Big Edge.
That'd be good.
Edge versus older Edge.
Because he just looks like Big Edge. He just looks exactly the same as him, just bigger.
Can I just point out though?
Taller.
To the last thing Nick Aldis did in NWA on the August 29th. Aldis lost the NWA World Heavyweight Championships, like big notable thing, to Trevor Murdoch in a title versus career match ending his 1043 day. Technically,
so he's
could be starting a new career. Technically, I think they must have wrestled because the company's still going at the minute, even through COVID, isn't it?
To be fair, it was title versus career. He lost his title. He didn't lose his career.
Oh yeah, it would have been Trevor Murdoch that lost career.
Murdoch's career would have been not his. Yeah.
In which case, Pete, I can't tell you anything. But I can tell you one more thing. We will end this podcast, but we must mention the fact, with our completely legal stream we had today for Wrestle Kingdom Day 3, we had the greatest thing played for our hosts, and it was
We
great.
didn't know what was going on.
So
Hang on. Before you go on to that, we need to talk about the booking for and how many people they had for the Rumble and how they're struggling for competitors recently. And Pete made a funny earlier, didn't you, Pete? And I feel like it would be unfair to not bring this up on the stream because we were both in hysterics earlier on.
It was actually Dan that brought it up because he was talking about SmackDown.
Dan was telling us what sort of matches they were. So Dan, what matches were on SmackDown? And what's the match on SmackDown?
Oh, the street fight.
Tell us about
the street fight.
And I made a comment of they're that desperate for wrestlers now they're just dragging people in from the street. And then it was like just two homeless guys.
We just got homeless people brawling for
sandwich on a pole match.
So yeah, it's been a mad day. But before that, we had walk. What was? Let me just double check what it was called. It was called.
Oh, one thing as well before you move on to that as well. Walter is moving from NXT UK to NXT 2.0 next week.
Yes.
That's cool. Literally, that's cool. I didn't know.
His final match in NXT UK is this week, and he's moving up to NXT 2.0. I guarantee he will not be in the NXT 2.0 very long before he comes straight to the main roster and absolutely gets buried and ends up fucking gone.
Yeah.
He's had a match against Riddle on New Year's Eve, didn't he? With the tag match, but he was involved in that, which was awesome.
No, I haven't seen it.
Good. I liked it.
Was it good, yeah? Good.
But,
I'm genuinely happy to hear that.
Shall we try for one last time, a third time? So if you haven't already, guys, please leave a like, share, subscribe. Make sure you just comment anything. Help us with our algorithm. And we are going to leave you with the rendition from Vince Russo of Walking with Tanahashi.
Because, Tanahashi, how can you call this
flip for me?
Yeah.
I got a front row seat. And my balls are as blue as can be because I'm walking with Tanahashi. I'm walking with my ween high in the air. I'm walking with Tanahashi. Man, this dude's got some great hair.
Walking with Tanahashi because he's got really nice hair.